What's going on, everybody? This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D, coming to you here unusually on a Sunday morning. But I had to slip into my office, my new office, by the way, beautiful new facility we're in. Got a conference room over there, and they're building a room upstairs where there's going to be about seating for 300 people, I believe, or so, where we can do some training there. And so we'll be bringing some of you here to work with your companies, your organizations, or just individually based upon some of the service offerings that we're going to provide. So love being in this new facility. It's beautiful here. Lots of neat things going on. What's going on? Hi, Facebook user. Again, I don't know who it is because it says Facebook user. But we want to say hello to you anyway. But I'm coming here today because last night I had a conversation. And let me tell you something. With this person, I've had a lot of conversations over the years. It's one of my best buds. His name is Darren Price. He's the CEO of Wright Price Companies in Syracuse, New York. And he and his wife, Parrish, are building out their dream there. And I'm just proud of him. And the reason why is I've known him since we've been about 15 years old. That's a whole lot of years ago. But I remember way back then, he and I saying, we're going to be successful entrepreneurs. You know, he kind of grew up with an entrepreneurial family. I did not, but we used to always encourage each other around it, talk about it. We didn't know what to do. We literally did not know what to do, but we knew that we wanted to be successful entrepreneurs, and so we both went on into life and started taking on employment in sale, hey, how you doing? Equus Works. Good to see you all. And so we went on in life and took on jobs and employment and had families and things like that. But our conversations continued. Yeah. Hey, Oscar, how you doing, man? It's been a long time. Hope all is well. We continue to have these conversations around entrepreneurism. Well, now today I have a firm, that is impacting organizations, businesses, corporations, schools, school districts all over the world. He has built up a technology company and a furniture company that is having explosive growth in Central New York, one of the fastest growing firms, definitely one of the largest minority owned firms in our Central New York area. And what's amazing about my conversation with my friend Darren was that after all these years, we still have vision. We still believe in the bigger picture. And we both have the right attitude when it comes to achieving these outcomes. So I just wanted to take a few moments because that conversation last night, I wish D was on here. I should have had him become a part of this. I'm going to start bringing you on some of this, Darren, if you ever see these, because I'll tell you something. What I realized after our conversation, I didn't want to get off, but he had to go do some stuff. I had to go do some stuff. We talk every other day, continuing to push each other towards the desire, the goals we have. But just that conversation made me realize that attitude really is everything. Like he and I are in a phase now, a lot of people we grew up with, they're kind of settled into life, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, raising kids and grandchildren, things like that. And we're doing the same thing. We're fathers, we have children, spouse and things like that, but we still got this thing for what we're trying to do in business. And our attitude is really steeped in the fact that it's already, we've already seen success, but it's going to be done. You see, because attitude truly is everything. Like a lot of people say that, but let me tell you why attitude is important. All right, let me give you one quote in particular. This is Dr. Eleanor Levy. She's an immunologist and PhD out of Boston University. She says this. She says, our thoughts affect the way we feel more so than what we eat. Research throughout the world, including Harvard's Body and Mind Institute, suggests that positive thoughts increase white blood cell count, helping to fight disease and infection. Positive thoughts also increases the body's production of adrenaline and endorphins, which helps with overall vitality and excitement about life. If you want to improve the way you feel and look, begin with your attitude. Check that out. Attitude. And instantly feel better about life and all that it has to offer for less than the cost of a Big Mac. Now, this lady was an immunologist and PhD out of Boston University, and she said, based upon research, that attitude is everything. But notice what she also said, our thoughts. It's interesting, like you'll find as you are pursuing certain things in life. And again, I'm coming to my new beautiful office, man. I love this place. It's beautiful here. Got all kinds of stuff going on in this place. And it's Sunday, so nobody's here. So this is a good time to record. or other people would be here. There's other businesses in here as well. But I just realized, man, that when you have and thinking about what Dr. Levy just said, when you have the right attitude, something happens internally that causes you to fight through obstacles, to overcome challenges, to understand who you need to share your vision and dreams with and who you should not. Attitude sometimes, listen to this is tough, but it's the reality, can be a separator. And what I mean by that is it separates who you spend the most time with, because some people don't necessarily have the same attitude that you may have. And the reality is they can't embrace what you're doing. So what you're doing becomes abhorrence to them. They just can't handle it. So they're going to try to find a way to make you look negative because of the way they feel. So when you have the right attitude, it's important to be around people who have the right attitude, because the reality is the other folks going to just drain you, because it's almost like your attempt to do what you're trying to do is like they mentally it's tough for them, because they place you in a box and they expect you to stay there. All right. I'm talking to somebody today. I feel like I'm preaching today. It is Sunday. But the reality is you have to have the right attitude, and your thoughts have to be, I'm going to achieve certain outcomes despite people around me, despite circumstances. Like I said, my friend and I, we've been at this for decades, and we're still speaking the same language. It's not like we're saying, man, we've run our course and man, no, I don't know how many more years the good Lord is going to keep me on this earth, if it's 20, 30, whatever. I'm going to continue to have the right attitude, because attitude is everything. If you're out there watching this, would you agree? Don't just listen to me. Type in the chat feature. What are your thoughts? What has attitude meant to your life? What have you accomplished in your life because of a positive attitude? Man, I can think here and think of a whole lot of things, because I just believe that the right attitude releases things into your life. It releases opportunity. It releases networks, people that want to interact with you. It releases resources. We're doing a lot of work in training and development. And I mentioned DEI has become a big thing. And I think everybody's kind of seeing that. But we're getting customers literally because of the systems that we put in place that's based upon the right attitude that people have to have, steeped in mindset, to produce an outcome. And so attitude is truly everything. I say that, Everett, no doubt. Attitude is everything, man. I'm telling you, it really is. Let me give you another quote. This is by Dr. William James of Harvard University. This is what he said after 50 years of research on human potential. 50 years of studies and hypotheses and theories, all this stuff, interviewing this person, interviewing that person. Here's what I want you to understand what he said. He basically took 50 years of research, threw it in the garbage can, and this is what he said. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a person can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. Think about that. We're not talking about like something you have to go make a reservation to do or get approval to do. This is something you choose to do. You see what I'm saying? You choose to do it. You choose to say, man, I'm going to choose an attitude that's going to produce outcomes for me. That's what my buddy and I were talking the other day. Last night, we were just talking, and there was nothing in our nothing in our conversation that had any doubt in the potential of what we were going to accomplish. That's why he and I are still running. I'm not running with a whole lot of people. I knew a lot of people back then, but I'm not running with them. He and I are running together. And there's some others I know, and we interact with them and all that. But when it comes to running, we're pushing each other. You see, and so why? Because our attitude is belief that our work is going to make a difference on the planet. You see, I know what I'm doing is making a difference. The customers I'm serving, the people we're interacting with. I was just in Texas with about 400 young people, but the mayor of the city, the judges of the cities, the state, that region, all of them came up and said, this wasn't just for the kids. No matter what I do, I'm always going to impact young people's lives. That's just the way I am. I'm never going to stop. I got corporate contracts. I got this and that, but those young folks, these are a bunch of young Mexican kids right at the border, because why? Attitude is everything. I had a young man walk up to me, probably about 6'3" in height, 6'4", wrap his arms and start crying in full blown tears. He said, I've never heard anybody say anything like this to me, ever, ever. Kids would come. There was more tears in that stadium than ever. Why? Attitude is everything. It really is. Keep in mind, for many of them, it's their first time hearing words since the pandemic. So I was probably the first voice. And one kid said, my goodness, he said, you made me just totally forget about the past year and think about my future. I said, oh, man, that's what it's all about. Attitude is everything. They were feeling what was inside of me, which is the true potential that they possess. And so, my friends, moving forward, I'm just going to encourage you. Don't just take this term attitude is everything and ignore it and act like it's just a motivational cliche. It is not. It truly isn't. Attitude is everything is a paradigm. Let me say this real quick. Like, we lost a giant about 7, 8, 9 years ago. His name was Keith Harrell. And Keith wrote the book, Attitude is Everything. And I call him a giant because he and I had several phone conversations. He's one of my early stage mentors. Phenomenal. He used to call himself super fantastic. He used to say, have a super fantastic day, things like that. And man, this guy was one of the most in-demand speakers in the world. He traveled everywhere, big corporations and businesses. But I don't think there was ever a time I had a phone conversation with him that doubt ever was a part of his conversation. He never, it was always with the potential. And he said to me, he said, Daryl, he said, Coach, you got to realize something. People buy what's inside of you. He said, and so when you stand up there, man, they are buying what's inside of you. When you go to a job interview, they are buying what's inside of you. When you go for a promotion, they're buying what's inside of you. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. And if you have a poor attitude, just negative attitude, what happens is people have a tendency to now put you in a box and say, this person is pessimistic. They can't help us. We can't help them. And so the reality is attitude is everything. So I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up. I'm actually here working, but I want to stop and do one of these because I don't get to do LinkedIn as much as I used to, and YouTube and Facebook and all the other things. And it's Sunday morning, so I'm giving you a Sunday morning message too. I'm just not preaching to you right now, but I'm telling you, man, attitude is truly everything. This attitude thing, if we don't get this right, we can spend an entire lifetime spinning our wheels. Be careful who you hang around. Be careful of the influences of the past. You know what I mean? Be careful of the influences of the present. Be careful of people's expectations of you. Because one thing, when you have a vision, everybody got expectations of what you're supposed to be doing. And a lot of times it's from people who don't have a vision. But they're going to tell you what to do. You do what you're supposed to do what God called you to do. Tell the rest of them folks, you can just go over and do what you got. I don't try to stop me from being who I am. Because I have a purpose, I have a vision. I like what my mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, said, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. If I don't understand the purpose of my life, I'll abuse it. If I don't understand the purpose of relationships, I'll abuse those. If I don't understand the purpose of drugs, because drugs have a good purpose, guess what? It's called drug abuse. Okay? It's not that the drug is bad, we just abusing it. And so attitude, man, I'm telling you, you got in purpose, not throwing purpose up in there. You see, Miles got me going with purpose. That's why I'm sitting here today. If it wasn't for his teachings, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. And when he starts talking about purpose, man, everything changed for me. Now I'm talking about purpose, not supposed to be talking about attitude. But purpose is so powerful, you see. And I love this biblical scripture that says, in I think it's Proverbs 19:21, where it says, many are the plans of a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. And there's another one that says in Ecclesiastes, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose. Look at that. People don't like, talking about Bible, but the Bible is loaded with stuff that just clarifies what we're here for. We all don't have forever, but it's our purpose, it's our attitude, it's our disposition, it's all those things. Listen, we live in a big old world, but your focus is narrow. And your attitude is going to decide how you do your focus. Don't try to please everybody. Don't try to look for advice from people who don't have no idea of what your purpose is on this planet. And the reality of the matter is, if you have the right attitude, just like my friend Everett said, You have the right aptitude, and the right aptitude is going to be a magnet for opportunities. So just wanted to drop this nugget. 15 minutes in, I got to go. And it's this radio show host around here. I think his name is Lonnie Hunter. He said, I got to go. I got to go too. But I hope that you understand what Dr. Levy says. Attitude is everything. And what Dr. William James said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that a person can alter their lives by altering their attitudes and mind. Friends, you don't have your whole life to please people. What you got to do is please God and please purpose. And the rest of them could just go stand on the sideline and create stories about you and all that they want to create. You need to focus on what you're here to do. And that's purpose, that's attitude, that's disposition, that's focus. And then from there, you can be able to do some things that can definitely make a difference on the planet. Thank you so much. Thank you, Oscar. I appreciate you, man. We got to reconnect. It's been a while. Take care. Bye-bye.